They told us to give a disclaimer. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the podcasters, any guests, and do not reflect any of the management, owners, sponsorships, or employees of thereof. Pretty much, if you're soft, don't listen to this podcast. One thing I pride myself on is just being the same and trying to look out for my folks along the way.
Like, even with all these, big things happening, like, you still mad humble, and you still, like, you have enough clout now where you could easily be like, I'm not fucking with this, I'm not fucking with that.
Oh yeah, motherfuckers, it's on. Unrestricted Podcast listeners, thank you so much for clicking play. Because of you, those numbers are going up, up, and up. Now, if you haven't went onto the website, what are you doing? Go get yourself a hoodie. Even though it's 80 degrees here in Salt Lake City, it's going to drop really quick. So go get a hoodie, allrock.com, ALLRAWK.com. Today, I got some very special guests. Actually, I'm surprised by one person that showed up. I got Saygen and I got my man Zack Partridge from Fierce Fighting Championship in the building. But you guys are more than that. You guys are like entrepreneurs doing everything. I see car detailing. I'm seeing roofing or lighting and stuff. Like, you guys are doing everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's been that way for about a decade.
Yeah. You guys are, whenever you hear about Zack, and every time you're on here, you always give props to the man to your right. And Saygen, we had a good time on Saturday at FightCon. And you're like, Dre, I would love to come do your pod. I was like, dude, let's do it. The reason why I've never been like Saygen when you want to come up is because you never, like, you're not the talking guy. Nope. Pull that mic up to you. If you need to, you can adjust the height on it. Yeah, there's a little button to the, yeah, there you go. Yeah, just turn it and then pull that thing up to you. I want the people to be able to hear you. There you go.
Yeah, I like to be in the shadows for sure. I think that's kind of like the arrangement that Zack and I have naturally found is he gets to do all the things that I don't want to do, and I do all the things that he doesn't want to do. So it works out great.
Yeah, but obviously you have a story too, right? Like, how did you end up with Fierce and this whole nonsense of MMA in Utah?
Just this guy. We did Detail Sharks. So, I mean, going back all the way to the beginning, man, I got into the car scene. My first and only job that I've ever had. I worked at Makes and Models, and I started detailing cars, and I just found a love for it. I ended up going backpacking on the PCT for a couple of months, and the whole time I was out there, I was like, when I get back, like, there's no way I'm working for anybody else. Like, I gotta figure something else out. Like, I want to do my own thing. And I get back, and I see this ad, like, literally within the first week or two that I was back, for a car detailing position at Station Park. And I reached out, and he basically hired me on site. And then it was like a month in, he was like, yo, you're killing it. Like, this is crazy. And I was like, dude, I want to be a part of this. Like, this can go so far. And I feel like this is just like side hustle stuff. But this is like, we can make this into a real business. And that just kind of kicked everything off. We spent the next 5-6 years just like going through complete hell trying to grow this detailing company. And then he started fighting, and we kind of just like fell in love with the idea of a promotion, starting our own promotion. Him and Jason were doing a Damage Plan podcast. And I kind of was just like on the back end of that. Were you a lover of mixed martial arts before? No, I to this day, that's another thing is like, I'm not really into the community. The aspect that I bring into this business is that like outside point of view. Yeah. So I'm able to kind of check Zack on the whole echo chamber of the MMA community and be like, no, like, you know, we got to market this way to get to the people like me. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's kind of the story from what I remember.
Yeah.
He's just a hard worker, and Zack's like, hey, let's do this.
Well, it's different, right? Because like me and the original person that I started with the car detailing business with, we went through so many employees. We had one really good one that worked out, but when you hire employees for a position like car detailing, they usually get burnt out pretty quick. Mm. I'm a builder. Like, I want to build. That's what my passion and my motivation is I want to build something. to its capacity. And I felt like that's something that we connected on. Like, he's a builder too. And while my original business partner that I started the car detailing company with, why he wanted to start, it was his idea to start a car detailing company. It wasn't mine, but I just wanted to build something. And so I sold my first business to start that one. And then when we hired him, I could tell he was on that same wavelength. He wanted to build. And I think that's where we connected from. We are opposites in a lot of ways, but the things that we have in common are we are builders. We are extremely hard workers. We've been able to trust each other, like the things that matter, like we've connected on, but we have so many like personality differences and viewpoint differences and things like that I just think it's mixed us really well. And I could see that. And so when my original partner was basically bailing and he moved, the opportunity came forth for him to either take over the company by himself or we could keep it going together. And and then it just worked out, and it was car detailing, and it was growing. And then it was, like he said, we got really interested in doing our own promotion and doing our own thing. And then it just kind of worked out timing wise. I was doing the podcast with Jason Laporte, was doing the commentary for Fierce, started that relationship and conversation with Cody Bunderson, who owns Fierce, who when he was like, hey, like help with matchmaking, take over the show, everything. It was kind of like, I would love to, but Saygen comes with me. Like that, it's kind of always been the deal, is like, if I'm going to do something and build something, like I want him in it with me.
Yeah, you need your better half, right? Being a partnership, I've had many partnerships. I had a partnership with the studio, similar story to you. Guy bailed on me, left me with a lot of debt.
Yeah,
a whole year lease that I had to come up with. I've had a DJ partner that did not want to pull his weight, and it was a one-sided thing. How do you guys keep this thing so it doesn't ruin your friendship, but then also where you guys hold each other accountable?
Dude, communication with this guy is like just A1 all the time. I feel like we've always been to a point where like we don't need to hold back. We speak our truth, and like that is our truth, and then we just figure it out from there. We both know that we're not dumb people. Like we're intelligent people. We both deserve the same amount of respect and understanding of each other's word, and so I think that's honestly been the thing. Like we value all of these different traits within each other that we also see within ourselves, and even when it comes to our differences, like our communication is just on point, and we're able to just get through whatever problems. I mean, we've been through some shit.
Like we've been through stuff with each other too. It's not like it's been like flowers and roses the whole way. Like it's like we've had rough conversations with each other, but they were all necessary for progression. And so every time we're going through rough conversations or rough spots in our relationship, our friendship, business wise or personally, like it is stuff like when I step back and I get out of my feelings, I know he's telling me stuff that I need to hear. And I think he feels the same way. Like if I tell him something that is direct and maybe feels harsh or whatever, he knows it's something that he can step back and we understand where each other is coming from. And that's where I think the builder mindset comes from, is we're sharing this so that we can get better, progress, and move forward. And that's where we're on the same page with that. So we've always been able to work through it really well. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it usually strengthens our relationship for sure every time too. But like he said, like going through stuff, like we've gone through so much stupid stuff together too, where it's like we've been scammed. We had a guy that served jail time. We were part of like a scam that he was running on small businesses. We've been through that together. We've been through a guy basically just stealing money and walking away from us you know, together. And we've experienced all these things. Like you do a little documentary on all the businesses we've been through and all the shady people that have come in and out of our lives, but we've always been able to trust each other. And we've both had opportunities that we, you know, like, it's like if we were going to screw each other or something or bail, we would have done it to each other a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like it's just been time and time again where it's like, I'm wide open, where he could have just taken my legs out from under me, or vice versa. And it's just never happened. And so it's built a bond and a trust that at this point, I really do feel like it's just like, it's not going to get broken.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. I mean, it sounds like you guys are two peas, one pod. Like, you guys understand each other. And when you have genuine, honest people working with you, like, you got to keep that.
For sure.
Through the hard times and everything. But it is hard for me. Like, it's hard to give up that trust again. Once you get burnt once, it's like, man, do I want to jump into another partnership with somebody? And I'm not really sure how this is going to work out, but you got to roll the dice, man. It's like trusting people, right? You got fighters that cancel on the show. It's like, but you can't just like not do it, you know? You got to give some type of trust.
You do have to, but
fool me once, a fool get fooled again.
Yeah,
no, for sure. For sure.
But I mean, I look at it like originally back, like I think we both see something, like you said, in each other, and we do have a respect for each other and what each other brings to the table. My original business partner in this, when he bailed, like I wanted to be out too. Remember, I didn't want to be in the car detailing business. Like I'm not a car guy. I don't care about cars. I have zero passion for cars. Go look at what I drive. I drive old cars. I don't care about cars. That is not a thing for me. I will always drive old used cars. My goal is to not have car loans, paid off cars, old car, like
point
not
A
my
to
thing.
point B. That's it.
Yeah, that's all I care about. I'm not a car guy. And like he has at least a passion for cars in a way of like paint corrections and detailing them and getting them in their beauty. I don't care. Like that doesn't do anything for me. So when my business partner was exiting, I wanted to too. But the attraction of like staying involved with it was working with another person that I knew was a builder like me.
And you've been building a lot of stuff, man. I see you, boy, you built like a go-kart.
Oh, my drift trike.
Was that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I seen you on I think it was on TikTok. I was like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah. I don't know. I think being an entrepreneur and just having to kind of force yourself into like a DIY mindset constantly, like literally every day there's something that needs to be fixed that I don't know how to do right now, but I can figure it out within an hour, you know? Yeah. I just kind of kept pushing along, and then, my passion is literally just building weird stuff now.
What do you do with that? Is that just self-passion, or do you want to like build, like create something to where, I don't know, invent something to...
I've definitely thought about it. I have people hit me up all the time like, hey, like I want to, try and do something. I want to create something, whatever. And I don't know. That's just how my brain works. I just kind of see processes, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just, if somebody has a problem, or if like I have an idea, I can just see it all the way through from point A to point B. So
I'm like, dang, why don't you build a roller coaster or something?
Dude, that'd be sick.
Like how cool would that be? And you're not, this might sound weird, but you're not like a schooled, trained engineer.
No.
You're just a guy that has a brain that works in this way of creating cool things.
Yeah. I built a bus. I built a couple like vans out, but I had a passion since I was in like 7th grade. One of my best friends, Alex, he showed me like tiny homes and van living and all this stuff. And so I had this drive to do that. I never wanted to like live in a house or anything. Like I just wanted to live in a van down by the river kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I spent probably like 4 months or so. I went to Colorado, bought this used bus for a couple grand, and it was literally just a shell. And spent the next 4 months just with my grandpa out in his backyard, just building it out into a little motorhome. And then I learned a ton. I learned how to weld. I learned electrical, woodworking. I mean, basically everything.
Plumbing.
Yeah,
You had a bathroom in this thing?
I built a shower.
He had a shower in that bus.
Yeah, full size, 6 foot.
So how does that work? Does the water just drain out the bottom, or do you have like a
No,
tank
so
for it?
I created a whole recycle system with water filters, like pumped it out the bottom. There was no drain in the bottom, like to just go onto the ground. It just pumped out and then went through filters, and then after it was clean, it went back into the catch tank. So,
Where's this bus now?
that's a great question. We were just talking about that. I don't know. I sold it. I sold it to one buddy, and then that buddy moved to Alaska, so I got it back from him, and then I sold it to another guy, and I don't know where it is right now, unfortunately.
Dude, this is for me. It's like, dude, you built that with your grandpa. Wouldn't you want to keep that?
No, I mean, it sucks that it's just like
Am I bringing up a sore
out in
subject?
it's just out in the world somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it is. I would love to know. If anybody has go to my TikTok, scroll to the bottom. There's a picture and a video of the van. If you know where that van is, let me know. But then I built out my uncle's van. Spent like a month building out a dog grooming van.
That was wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love it. I love the innovation and just the engineering, like problem solving stuff. It just gets me going. I love it.
I love the mobility of that. You know, you look at guys like Steve-O, created a whole podcast that's mobile, right? Tricked out his whole van. The tiny home living, the small bus and van living. I always look at TikTok, I'm like, man, that's really cool how they do that. Mm-hmm. And if I had one, and like, it would save a lot of money if you really think about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How much money did you save during the 4 months that you?
So we went all over the place. But yeah, my girl and I just had a baby, and so we were out for like 4 months, I think.
3-4 months for sure.
But it was a bit stressful. She was like 1. And so
you had a baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it was like the timing it was just all happening. And so it was almost just a feeling of, we have to do this or we're never going to get a chance to do this again.
Yeah.
And we just went for it. And it was a great time. But man, I don't know if we technically saved any money because we were traveling so much. We didn't stay anywhere for longer than like a week, but we went all through. We went into California, New Mexico. We went all the way down to Yuma, Arizona, which is basically the furthest down Mexico. You can go. Yeah. But yeah, we traveled everywhere. So saving money, I don't think we did that.
Did you document the journey?
We tried to. It was just a lot of like just living in the moment. I mean, it was once in a lifetime experience kind of thing.
Have you always been a free spirit like this?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. That's ever since I've known him. Like, it didn't even, like, when he's like, this is what I'm doing, I'm like, yeah. It wasn't like why, it wasn't what are you doing? It wasn't any, it was like, yeah, makes sense. Like, this is your lane. Like, this is what you do. So
Detail Sharks was rolling at the time. Like, everything was good. We had a big shop.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, everything lined up. I had to go for it. Honestly, I'd do it again for sure. Probably will do it again when I'm like 40.
That's not too far, is it?
Yeah, it's far enough. He's still young, buck.
Young guy.
I'll be 28 here soon.
Oh man, you are young.
Yeah. When we started all this, that's the other thing. When he started all this, and he raised the money to buy out my business partner out of his part of the business, dude, he was like 18.
Yeah, I think I just turned 18.
Like, he was a kid.
That's nuts.
Like, so that was the other thing that's been one of the coolest things for me is watching him go from, like, he was very mature as an 18-year-old, right? And so if you were 18, I was like 26.
I don't know. You're like 100 right now.
Hey, we take that personal, all right?
Whoop your ass. But
you were like, no. I think you were like my age, honestly.
Yeah, I was
27.
Well, how old are you right now?
27.
So I turned 36 in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm like so I was like 27, right? And I see this kid, and it's like, but I've literally watched him over the last 9-10 years go from a super mature kid, but like I've watched him grow all these strengths and watched basically just fulfill his potential that he has. And like
making me feel like a kid.
yeah, I know. Good. You just called me like 100, so I don't feel that bad.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I like watching him maximize that potential. And this is part of like doing this is part of it. Cause like he said, like when we started, like he likes to kind of be in the shadows, but like he has a lot to offer. And part of like that next step of his evolution, I feel like needs to be putting himself out there a little bit more to share some of that, because he does so much of it. He has all these talents and these gifts, and that he just kind of does for his own projects, but like he can share it, you know?
The name Saygen, is that like real name?
Dude, it's my real name. It's on my birth certificate. There's not a good story behind it, so.
The best story behind it is I called him Saygen for about 3 months and he just let me.
Yeah, so.
Well, I still let Zeke call me Drew.
Dude, it's one of those things where like if you know me enough, then you can call me by my actual name. But like if you want to call me Saygen, obviously you don't know me, so I'll let you look like an idiot.
When we first started, you mentioned that you were backpacking. I think you said 4 weeks. You were backpacking?
Months.
4 months.
Yeah, the PCT.
What's that?
Why
mean?
don't you tell people that?
The Pacific Crest Trail is a trail that goes from Mexico to Canada through California, Oregon, and Washington.
And backpacking means you just have your backpack.
Yeah.
And how did you just hitchhike?
No, you walk.
You walked that whole way?
We did hitchhike, but yeah, you walk the whole thing.
Why don't you tell people like how you get supplies and stuff?
Okay, it's a whole process. So basically, we spent about 2 months preparing. You get all your food kind of ready to go. It's a lot of just like, backpacking food. It's like mashed potatoes and pasta sides and like, whatever. And we had to have our parents ship it to us like every week to a different location.
I forget you're an adolescent during this time.
Yeah, no, we were 16, 17 years old, like just out of high school. So basically you just kind of guess, okay, we think we can do 10 miles every single day. We need to get to this location at this time because that's when our food is going to be there to pick it up and then go on to our next one. So we didn't do the whole thing. We didn't even get to Oregon, unfortunately. The girl that I was with, she got like this crazy rash. We got into like this pond and she ended up with this crazy rash. We had to bounce in Etna, California. But man, my dream is to go back and finish that. I was just talking to a buddy about that actually.
How would you do it different?
I wouldn't do the whole thing again. I would probably just start where I left off. And I really just want to go through Oregon and Washington, go through the redwoods, do that whole thing. But yeah, if I was going to do it again, I don't know. There's a lot of people that they'll like literally run it. They'll train it so that they can run like on a daily basis and do like 20 miles at a time. And honestly, with where my life is at right now and my kids and everything, like that's probably what I would have to do, or I would have to take them with me. So, but yeah, I've been talking to my buddy about it, and I really want to go back and do that. We're just so busy right now with Fierce.
Yeah, when are you going to do that with the break with shows?
Yeah, it'll have to be a couple of years, but it's something that I definitely want to finish before I'm unable to.
Well, you got some time
before you're 100.
Yeah, before I'm 100. Before I'm as old as this guy.
What kind of crazy things did you see on?
Dude, there's just some wild people out there. Like you talk about free spirits, like the people that are doing that. Yeah, they're a little cuckoo.
They're still on ayahuasca,
dude. Oh, okay. So there's this guy. So everyone has like a nickname, right? My nickname was Honey Spoon. I don't even know how.
I'm gonna start calling you that.
Oh, you're Honey Spoon now.
Yeah, I'm Honey Spoon. There was this guy though. His name was like Bull something, but we're just outside of Shasta, and there was like this big camp where everyone was just kind of pooling in. There was only one gas station. That's where everyone would get their food delivered to, and so you would hang out here, and people would hang out there for a couple of days or whatever, waiting for their orders to come in. And there was this guy. He was going into Shasta to like buy some weed or whatever. He comes back with a cactus with peyote, a huge like corn on the cob size piece of peyote, and he just starts eating it, just like sitting at a picnic table, just chowing down like it's nothing.
Oh no.
Yeah, and we're all just like, holy cow, like we're gonna have to like babysit this guy, like what's going on? He finishes it, throws his backpack on. It's like midday. It's like 6 o'clock. And he just starts hiking. We're like terrified for him. Like, this dude is tripping balls right now, just out in the wilderness, just everything he owns is on his back, going through this forest. And it was just, yeah, there's some wild people out there.
Dude, what happened to the guy? Did you guys ever see him?
Nope,
on the
never
trip?
saw him again.
He probably died.
I have no idea. And then there's the oldest guy that I ever saw, I swear, dude, he was like 70, 80 years old. Like gray, just all gray. Like this was like his final journey, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a lot of interesting people out there. A lot of interesting people.
You're going to be that gray guy out there.
I hope not. I hope that I can get out there before then, but
He's
yeah.
going to be gray by the time he's 36.
If you ever have the opportunity to be anywhere around the PCT, they do. There's people, they call them trail angels, and they'll like bring snacks, cookies, whatever, things that you can't take with you on the trail, like fresh things, fruits, whatever, and they'll find these like hub locations that you can drive to and be next to the PCT. And you can, like, the hikers will come and stop and eat, and you can hang out with them and talk to them. Like, dude, if you ever have the opportunity to go out there, podcast with some of them, like, you will meet some wild people. Absolutely wild.
So this is a famous trail. Do people like from all over the world go to this trail?
Yeah. There's a documentary on it, or not. It's not a documentary. It's like I don't know. It was like some spinoff. I think it's just called PCT, but it's about this girl who. I just remember watching the movie and being like, I have to do the trail. And that came out in probably like 2016 or something. So that was like my inspiration. Couldn't tell you like basically anything about the movie. I know that like the picture of it is like a leather boot with red string or like red laces. So if you ever are interested,
Why don't you find the link and like send it to him?
Yeah, I can do that. I don't know if it's like I don't remember what it's called.
My cousin, he's a jumper. He jumps out of planes. He does his base jumping and all that stuff. And he has like certain milestones he wants to go. He wants like, allegedly he jumped off a crane. I don't think it's legal. Allegedly he did this thing.
Allegedly. Is there video evidence of it?
There might be a TikTok out there. And he might have busted his ankle falling like a dumbass. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Is there things like that for you where they're like, I want to do Mount Everest, I want to do Kilimanjaro, these kind of things?
I just watched so the movie real quick is called Wild.
No wonder you said it's wild.
Yeah. So
okay, I got you.
Dude, I just watched the Fly documentary that just came out. I think it's on Disney Plus. But it's like base jumping and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that.
Well, not necessarily that, but do you have like milestones that you want, or not milestones, but certain trails or whatever adventures you want to go on?
No, my whole life is an adventure. Every day is an adventure. I don't have any big goals right now.
Damn, how was that with being a father? Like,
yeah, that's part of the adventure for sure.
Did you see the beautiful artwork?
Uh-uh.
Oh, dude.
What, your kid drew on something?
Yeah, my car.
Oh, dang. With a key?
With a rock.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sick. Just a couple days ago. Yeah. Every day's an adventure, dude. She's 2.
2. So you got a 2-year-old and
a 5-year-old.
5-year-old.
Yep. Opal.
Both
and
girls?
Nova. Yep. I'm a girl dad.
Yeah, you're all boys, you're all girls.
Yep.
So we actually had this funny conversation a while back. It's like, that's why we're the balance at Fierce too. He's a girl dad, so he knows how to have a softer approach, but I'm a boy dad, so I'm more
straight direct.
Yeah.
He has all the hard conversations. I take care of people.
Yeah.
Are you sick of podcasts that just interview people with the same questions and gossiping nonsense?
Are you tired of hearing about what's wrong with the world? Can you locate your nearest orphanage?
Who cooked the Last Supper?
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head.
Seppuku Harakiri.
Where is Mavis Beacon?
This is Hos.
And this is host Beefy.
Listen to the Beans and Rice podcast.
Exclusively in Braille and all streaming platforms.
Patent pending.
No pukesters helping me to the left, and no pukesters helping me to the right. Didn't need them then, don't need them now. You are the ex-champion only.
Now this is the way, Tony and David, that you do the figure 4 leg lock.
You love wrestling.
Do you believe that Stone Cold Steve Austin is the greatest entertainer of all time?
Or maybe that Shawn Michaels is the sexiest man alive.
Or did you have a thing for Sonny from the years of 1994 to 1996 like I did?
Did you know Yokozuna isn't even Japanese?
If you could count the number of dimples on Rikishi's ass, this podcast is for you.
Follow us, the Figure 4 Podcast on Instagram, at Figure4 Podcast. And check us out on YouTube.
Do it.
Tell your punk ass friends about us.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, you're probably listening to the Unrestricted Podcast with Dre Rawka. We are? No, they are. Yeah, oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the real Ruby. You can catch me and Fonzie and the
Funk.
G Daddy Funk on Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, but I think you have to come in more smoother, more funnier. Like, yeah, they could catch us on the Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, y'all can catch us on the Lake Talk 801.
Yeah, and we'll be like, and yeah, man, hey, and they could catch people like me, the real Ruby, and people like you, Fonzie, and people like him, G Daddy Funk,
wow,
on
that's
the
a
Lake
lot
Talk
of people.
801. Who cares?
What'd he say?
Huh?
I didn't hear him.
I don't know, but this probably should be the ad.
Are these on?
Catch a new episode every Monday on all streaming platforms. The Lake Talk 801. Tune in now.
How do we elevate the cage? You're an inventor. Can we get the cage to spin or something?
Dude, we've talked about
we
different
we actually have some ideas right now. Like we're trying to like.
Let's not talk about them. Let's make sure that we can actually do it before we get people all hyped.
All right.
That we are trying to do some stuff that could like enhance like the visual around the cage and stuff for sure.
Yeah, the UFC's got a sick cage. Obviously we can't afford like the catwalk that has like the graphics and glows. Like that's really cool, but we are working on some ideas that can put a better focal point on the cage and make the cage a little more interactive. The Masonic Temple is a game changer.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We have November 8th. We're at the Masonic Temple, downtown Salt Lake City. How did this thing come about? Because we've done Maverick Center, we've done Warehouse 22, we've been in warehouses up north. How did we come to the Masonic Temple in Salt Lake City for our next event?
Well, what happened was, so we have a partnership with the Maverick Center, and they've been great partners for this whole time. But they have contracts, right, with the Grizzlies, the Stars, the Jazz's G League team, and they generally we kind of get we just get kind of open dates off of what other people don't use the venue, right? So we're there as a little bit of a filler, if you will, which has always created a little bit of obstacles in planning out cards and future events, right? So I remember thinking back in May on the May card, they said, we can do this weekend or this date or this date. And we're like 95% sure we'll get one of those. And I remember thinking, I'm always told it's like 95%. I'm like, one of these times that 5 to 10% is going to bite us in the butt. Mm-hmm. So what happened was we were going to get the leftover date either November 22nd or November 23rd. We've had a rough year at the Maverick Center. We had all those fallouts in May, right? Joel Haro was supposed to have the opportunity to get his title back. Opponent allegedly pulls his hamstring on fight week.
It's been
just dropouts and stuff like that. It's just, which is part of the game, right? And like that's the game we play. But so so we were told November 22nd or 23rd when the G League, we already have the Grizzlies schedule. When the G League comes out with their schedule, we'll probably get one of those two dates because they don't book back-to-back games very often, like almost never. So one of those 2 dates. Cool. So we come out and they call me and they said the only back-to-back home games they took for the whole season was November 22nd and 23rd. And they have to fulfill that contract with the G League. They have first dibs on those dates. So I built this massive card for November 22nd or 23rd. It was massive. It was awesome. We had all these title fights. We had the biggest, like kind of like a culmination of like our biggest names.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be on that card.
You shared them with me off air, and man, I got hyped.
Yeah. So then we had to go crap. And so then I'm like, we need to find a new venue in Salt Lake to hold this November card. One of the hardest things we have in Utah, we just don't have a lot of venues. Like talking to Scott Bowler, the head of the athletic commission, he's always said the Utah market, one of the biggest obstacles of a show growing in Utah is venues, affordable venues. Like we have to have a deal, like in a partnership like we do at the Maverick Center to make it work. Like people would not believe how much it costs to put on a show at the Maverick Center. It's insane. For a show like a regional show like what we're doing. Like if you look at even like Bellator, like they don't go to big arenas that often. Like they want to go to like theaters and manageable venue size, right? So we started asking around. Our good friend Rob Scott that runs Legends Boxing and Fight Con and does those. We were just a part of. He said, "Hey, check out the Masonic Temple. We did a boxing event there. It's really cool. They're great to work with." So when we checked it out, first we were like, I think it's too small. And then I started looking at it more and I was like, maybe we can make it work. And then we went and did a walkthrough. Me and him went and did the walkthrough. And I think we just like fell in love with the idea of it. Like,
dude, it's just such a...
The vibe in there is just so unique and so different. And we're going to be able to bring that big show feel to an intimate environment. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's going to sell out. I mean, the reality is the Maverick Center is really cool. Fighters want to fight there. Like we want to put on shows there. Like nobody can, no regional show could afford the Delta Center ever. That's right. The UFC goes and sells that big bad boy out. But so the Maverick Center is like that big show feel. But like when we go there and we put on these great cards there and there's a couple thousand people, but it still feels half empty. It's really hard to capture that energy in that big of a spot where the temple is. It's going to be so intimate and it's just going to be so unique to something that that Fierce hasn't been able to do before. And so we ended up at November. So they couldn't do November 22nd or 23rd either. But then I just realized, I'm like, we have this huge card and our sellout number's right around 1,000. I'm like, so let's split it into 2 dates, doing something we haven't done before, a December show. Messaged all the fighters on the card and said, sorry, like this is what happened. Would you like to fight November 8th or December 13th? And then we've just kind of let the pieces fall where they may. And November 8th is really cool. December 13th got a lot of when those names start dropping too, it's going to be really big as well.
I think one of the other big catalysts, and I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but when we went to,
we can edit. It's 36 minutes in.
When we went to the Bare Knuckle show, I think that was a huge catalyst for the direction that we needed to head in. We gathered the data, and we realized that they were pretty much selling the exact same amount of tickets that we were, and so that basically told us. It's not us. It's not our fault that we're not selling any more tickets than that. It's just that's the community. That's where we're at. And so yeah, we just realized that we just need to find a space that is actually what we need it to be, not what we can grow into, just what we need it to be. And then we're kind of shifting our focus more onto elevating the cage, the pay-per-view experience. We have Bet Openly now, so we're actually just focusing more on media and letting the physical promotion just be whatever it needs to be on the scale that it actually is, So
like the Maverick Center is a privilege. Like that's a huge stage. That's a privilege to be on. And when we go and we see a bare knuckle card that the main event was Christina, the co-main event, their female champ, one of their big time female champs, Christina Ferreira, and then co-main event was Jeremy Stevens, right? And then the rest of the card were all Utah guys, like pretty similar to like what a Fierce card would be like. A lot of those guys were what people consider fierce guys, right?
Yeah.
And the crowd reflected that very much. Here's the thing that people have to understand. So many shows come and go because there's very few people that actually move the needle. The reason why they got such a huge crowd the first time they came is they brought in freaking Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez. Mm-hmm. You brought in the biggest outside of the UFC. He's probably the biggest combat sports athlete in the world right now is Mike Perry. Until he lost to Jake Paul, like he had an insane amount of heat behind him. And then he's fighting a guy, Eddie Alvarez, who, love it or hate it, like he's been a legend in MMA forever, but he also shared the cage with Conor McGregor, who's the biggest lightning rod in MMA. And like that put a spotlight on Eddie. Like,
and his style of fighting.
Even though Eddie lost in that fight and he pretty much got dog walked in that fight, people that didn't follow Eddie Alvarez followed him after McGregor beat him the rest of his UFC career over to ONE, now bare knuckle. Like people tune into Eddie now because they know who he is more. I mean, the reality is when you share the cage with Conor, like your stardom elevates. Nate Diaz went from being an icon to the MMA community to a worldwide icon for when he beat Conor McGregor. Mm-hmm. Like he went from, like Saygen said earlier, the MMA echo chamber being like the guy, like one of those guys, to he beat Conor and he became a global icon, right? Like,
yeah.
So they had to bring in star power like that, and they filled the Maverick Center.
I would even say Khabib too. Like Khabib was known for the MMA heads, but the world known Khabib after that.
Absolutely, right?
The brawl helped too, but
yeah, the bus and everything, right? Throwing a dolly through the bus, but I'm just saying these are the lightning rods that they had to bring to fill the Maverick Center when they didn't bring the giant names, it was so cool. It was so cool to be a part of that event. I got to corner my teammate on that event, being back there, giving a fist bump to Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez. Like everybody was so cool to be around that event, but it was like they had to bring in these icons to fill the Maverick Center. When they didn't bring on those icons, like he said, the crowd was about the same that it was for a Fierce card. Like he said, it's like the market. It's a privilege, and I hear all the time from these fighters that are talking about like, I want to fight at the Maverick Center. Then as a community, we have to promote and build and do more to bring more people from our current MMA community. We need to get outside of that to bring more people to show who we have here that's exciting, right? The Joels, the Mike Jones, the Kent Mafaleo, the Zeeks, the Talon Carvalhos, the Logan Taylors, even down to our Amis, Ammon Garcia. And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on of all these guys that are phenomenal to watch in person. Like we just got to give them that spotlight so people know like, oh, this is awesome. Like we got to come here to watch it. Like he said, I just don't know if the Utah market is ready for 3-4 shows a year at the Maverick Center right now, which what we were trying to do, the data has shown that it's not. So it's like, we're going to go to the temple, keep organically growing this thing. And when the time's right, maybe we can go do a mega card back at the Maverick Center next year, And like, the goal isn't to like leave the Maverick Center forever. The goal is let's build up to make the Maverick Center to the point where we can fill that thing. We have 4,000, 4,500 people in that half bowl, sell it out, have that huge energy in that huge arena. Then it's bigger for everybody, including the athletes.
Yeah, I love the idea of building back up to it, right? Because the story that it tells, right? Imagine once we go back to the Maverick Center, we've had sold out shows, all these shows, and then boom, we're back at the Maverick Center. I love the vision. In business, taking a pivot and being like, I wouldn't even say a pivot, just trying something new, right? Trying something different. And I haven't been to the temple, but from the video I've seen, it looks like it's going to be no bad seat in the house.
No.
There really isn't. That's like one of the coolest things. It's like, and there's things that, I mean, I clip this because I hope people understand it. Not only is there not a bad seat in the house, they're all close to the action. They're looking down, like either they're looking through the cage or down onto the cage. Like the cage is going to be in that middle part, right? So it's going to, and it's lower than the stands. So that front row, you're not looking up into the cage, you're looking through it. Right?
It's literally like you're sitting on the catwalk.
Yeah.
Those first 2 rows are
it's like
right there.
They're a better seat than I would say any venue that we've had, because the cage will be sat into that pit, if you will, onto that floor. The stage is elevated a little bit. Those first seats are elevated just enough where it's like, oh, I'm not just looking up into the cage ground level. I'm above that. So I'm looking through it all the way up to even the back rows of that first tier. You're going to be looking like down through the cage, and then the balcony, you're going to be looking down on it. Like there isn't a bad seat in the house.
Man, it's exciting. November 8th, fiercefightingchampionship.com. Get your tickets. Who do we have on this card?
Cole Schaefer and John Poppy is our main event. John Poppy was supposed to fight Mike Jones August 3rd in the main event, broke his foot a couple weeks out, unfortunately. Cole Schaefer has been on a tear, 3-fight winning streak. Like Cole it's really interesting because he started his pro career on a 3-fight winning streak, then went on a 3-fight losing streak, and now he's like building back. And it's like he started out 3-0, then he's 3-3, and now he's back to 6-3. And it was like he's ready to go on that run that we thought he was going on when he was 3-0. And I think he's there now. I think he's learned some things, and I'm really excited for that main event and both putting themselves in title mix, right? But he trains with Mike Jones, who's our current 185 champ, so that's interesting. I know John Poppy wants a shot at Mike Jones again, so there's that. Jerome Hatch is back. He's on a skid, but like he's lost a couple split decisions that were really close. Like
really
he always puts on a show. Like he's never in a boring fight. We have an unbelievable amateur title fight between Talon Carvalho and Logan Taylor, which I think is, you have 4-0 versus 4-1, and I think it really is between two of the probably pound for pound best amateurs in the state.
That's the one for me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that.
I saw Talon last night at Karate Combat. I've seen Logan Taylor. Like, what's so fun is Talon is this super athletic electric striker. Logan is this pit bull of a grappler and a dog. But what's been interesting is like it's not just striker versus grappler. Talon has been working diligently on his grappling to become well-rounded. Logan is working diligently on his striking to become well-rounded. And so they're like rounding out. Like I don't know what's going to happen, which is exactly what you want in a title fight. Like we have some title fights where the fight's got to play out, but kind of know what's going to happen. Like I legitimately have no idea what's going to happen in that fight, and I'm really excited about that one.
Is this a move to pro after this for these guys? It has to be, right?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not in their camps, but like, I mean, Talon's still only been training like less than a year and a half, 2 years.
See, and this is my
He's
thing.
so green.
I was talking to
talent or lengthwise, right? But like he's an elite athlete.
Yeah.
Logan's young. He's been grappling forever, but he's still really young. Like, I don't know.
You say a year, and I was talking to Jerome Hatch about this. Back in 2005-06, you knew these guys were amateur. You could see the way the guys fight. It was like, oh, amateur. Now, in 2024, these guys look like pros. They're throwing nice punches. Their grappling's clean. They don't look like amateurs.
Dude, I'm telling you this, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. Go watch the dudes that were on season 1 or season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. Not the ones that became MMA legends like Diego Sanchez and Forrest Griffin and Joe Daddy Stevens and Rashad Evans. I'm not talking about those guys. But look at the guys that like lost early. They were the MMA pros, but like lost early in those tournaments. I am telling you, our amateurs now would beat those guys that were trying to get into the UFC then.
I'm going to have to go watch.
It's wild. It's wild to think
like
about.
These kids are killers.
Yeah. What do you think it is? Do you think it's just technology, technique, it can't be discipline, because I'm assuming those guys were disciplined back in the days too.
Not really. A lot of them were barroom brawl guys, just tough guys, like the tough man competitions. Like, and I think like MMA has just become more mainstream, right? Like I keep saying all these kids, there are distinct differences between martial artists and fighters. Some of them are just fighters, and fighters can go a long ways, but some are just really talented martial artists. And then you get the hybrid of both. And then there's one more layer. Once you get the martial artist that's a dedicated martial artist, plus they're a fighter and they have that dog in them, and then you start adding in the elite athletes into the mix. Like, what happens when the generations like LeBron James, right, generational talents, what happens when they start choosing MMA and not basketball or football or baseball?
And the sports didn't go so far, man. I mean, it's already far, but
to put it in perspective, I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast. John Jones is the runt of his family. He has 2 older brothers that are in the NFL, and they both say, like, dude, we grew up whooping him. That's the baddest dude to ever grace the UFC octagon. That's the baddest man ever. And his 2 older brothers that are in the NFL, they're like, John, like, we used to whoop that boy.
Yeah.
And his big brother Arthur's like, yeah, if we wrestle, like, he still knows who daddy is, you know? Like, I mean, I don't believe him, but I mean, John's extremely talented, but like, he's not even the best athlete in his own family, and he's literally dominated sports. You watch NFL player after NFL player transition to MMA, and they get to the top 15 really quick. They usually don't get over the hump, like the Brendan Schaubs, even Greg Hardy, right?
Yeah.
Greg Hardy main evented against Alexander Volkov after just like 5 UFC fights.
Yeah.
Like training MMA less than 2 years just because he was a super athlete, fast, strong, all that type of stuff. Like they can get really far. But what happens when they start training when they're 5, those athletes?
Well, I think that there's a classiness that's actually starting to kind of fall into it because, like you said, back in the day, it was like the meatheads. It was the dudes at the bar that just wanted to go out back and just throw hands.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, there's still a taste in people's mouths when you think about people that fight, you know? But now, with the evolution of the sport and the community and the whole thing, like there is more of like a classiness to it. Like
it's
if
sport.
you can fight, it's just different. It's not dirty barroom brawl. It's like, oh, he's a fighter. Like he does jujitsu. Like there's respect to it.
Yeah.
Saygen, we used to have them in the club. There was a club in downtown Salt Lake City called Club Elevate. The guys were almost hitting their head on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they used to fight in the cage right there in the bar. So when you say that, I'm like, that's true. It was a barroom fight.
Yeah.
Ultimate combat experience, right?
Yes.
And that's been a hot topic between Zach and I for a long time. It's like, how do we get out of the echo chamber? Because there is such and we live in Utah. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to convert Mormon moms into going and checking out fights, you know? And yeah, I think we're doing it. I think we're playing a big part in creating that classiness. And I mean, even I'm interested in fighting now. And I used to just be like, this dumb meathead wants to get punched in the head. All right,
fun.
Whatever.
We're going to get Saygen in the cage.
Oh, man. They keep on trying to convince me. I said, Zach doesn't have enough money yet.
Yeah.
We're going to get Saygen in the cage.
So,
he's got to build the cage in the morning, and then he's got to fight in it, and then he's got to be part of the
That'll be my warm up.
and you got to play your own song when you walk out. How about that?
Yeah, I'll just do all of it. Throw me the mic, Jackson. Let's go.
You talk about representation. I think that Fierce has a really good assortment of athletes that represent the brand really well, and we seen that on Saturday at a FightCon. Like all those guys, very well spoken, nice, humble. The kids come, they're talking to the kids, and I think that's very important when you have when we talk about getting out of the echo chamber. Like we're not all dumb guys, we're not all aggressive. Like most of us are fathers ourselves, and we love kids, and we do this thing, and it's fun. So I just want to salute you guys for having good talent to actually represent the brand well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested in bringing guys in that don't represent MMA well, right? Like there are those guys out there, and I get messaged by guys, and they're like, I'd love to come fight on your show," and it's like, no thanks. Like I've seen how you acted, or how you carry yourself. Like, no thanks. And it's not it's everybody. One of the beautiful things about MMA is you get to I don't know what the word I'm looking for. You get to display yourself or whatever, or show yourself whatever you want, however you want, and it's accepted. Like, beautiful thing about an MMA gym, like I tell people all the time, you know, like you have everything from cops to felons to hobbyists to pro fighters to amateur fighters to people that are doing in there to try and get confidence, not get bullied. Like, everything is on that mat, and it's respected, and it's good, you know. And the same thing in that cage, you know. But there are people that, you know, they bring an element of not what I think sets MMA back, you know.
Well, you get a person at their most vulnerable, whether if it's a loss, you know, they get knocked out, whatever it is, you get to see the person at their most
humble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been in that moment. I mean, we've all ran around with our heads cut off in the moment at a show, whether if it's, you know, for me, equipment issues, whatever. It's like, how are you gonna handle this? Are you gonna freak out? Are you gonna blame somebody else? It's like, nah, let's figure it out, let's do it, you know. And man, I think Fierce, we just got a solid team, and I'm excited for this next move going into 2025. And if you want to see it firsthand, make sure you go get your tickets. FierceFightingChampionship.com, November 8th at the Masonic Temple. Freemasons. Are Freemasons going to be in the building?
Oh yeah,
probably.
How do you become a Freemason?
Our boy Vinay. I don't know. Me and Cody were talking about that.
Sagen's all in. I think he's going to be a Freemason before we know it.
They're all builders, right?
Yeah. No. We were talking. I was texting Cody the other day. He's like, "Yo, when are we going to join the Freemasonry cult?" And I was like,
Allegedly.
"Dude, I'm not for organized religion in any way, but the more I look into the Freemasons, I'm like, that's kind of interesting."
Okay, we're doing our first tour of the building, and they're like, "Hey, we can't go to this part because they're holding like their council or whatever there." And I'm going, and I'm like walking through the lobby, and there's a guy in his like ceremonial like clothes or whatever with a sword, and I just like look at him, and I was like, I just turn and walk the other way, and I'm like, there's a guy with a sword over there. I don't think we're supposed to be over there.
Yeah.
So go ahead, sign up for that.
Dude, I mean, yeah, it's some serious stuff. When you get into some of those rooms, you feel some type of way.
They have all these themed rooms in the building. This is a 102-year-old building. What, 5 floors? 6 floors?
Yeah, it's big. It's
right?
huge.
And there's all these themed rooms, like right off the auditorium where we are is like the Egyptian room. And then like upstairs, like there's another room. It's like a Gothic room where it's like all like satin red and stuff. Like, it's weird.
You've seen it?
But it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
They took us a tour.
The whole thing.
You can just go in there?
They do tours.
Yeah.
If you arrange it, they do tours.
Like, Freemasons ain't hiding. They make it sound like it's some like,
dude, I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Dude, because we took videos and posted on our social media.
Yeah.
They took us up on the roof.
Yeah.
It was cool, dude.
can we have face-offs on the roof?
Dude, we're going to.
If the weather is right, I think because the elevator is like not that big, it would take forever to get everybody up there.
True. There's got to be stairs that go up there, though.
That's a lot of stairs, bro. I ain't walking up all the stairs.
Warm up, dog.
You guys are athletes.
not for weigh-ins, face-offs. But their beautiful staircase in the front of the building is awesome. And if the weather permits, like I would love to do face-offs. On that staircase. I think it would look awesome in front of those statues.
I'm excited. How's parking look? I know it's downtown, so how's parking situation look?
It's dicey.
For staff and fighters, we're gonna have their back parking lot. I think there's like 100 or whatever, but everyone else is just it's Salt Lake.
Downtown, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good luck.
Gotcha. It's a Saturday.
Carpool, please.
Friday.
Oh, it's a Friday. Free parking after 5.
Free parking after 5, and we're starting at 7.
There we go.
So free parking on streets.
Carpool. Fill up your cars. Don't
Uber.
Yeah, Uber.
Exactly. We have the after party that happened.
Sir. Yep.
That's all him.
Hall.
That's all him.
Tell us about that.
Well, so I want to get you on the set list. I need to know how long it's going to take you to transition your equipment and stuff from upstairs to downstairs, because you're gonna be a busy man.
Yeah.
Ballin'.
Yeah, I mean, this is all this is all a first thing, right? So we're gonna have to time it.
So we'll have the I don't know what you know about like the DJ community, but we'll have the Sinister Sound set up. It's like apparently the best equipment that we could possibly get down there. I have a buddy of mine. So my whole goal with this was just to try and help people that helped me along the way. One of my good friends, Colby Hill, he mixes, and so he's going to be kind of the opener. He's going to be down there playing probably from 7 o'clock until whenever the show ends, whenever you can get down there, and then we'll swap over. And then once that after party gets kicked off, I kind of want you to be that guy.
Hold on, so we're gonna have music on during the fights
downstairs?
Dude, you
just
can't
chill.
You can't hear anything.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
dude,
that place is
it's
like
all cement.
So who's down there?
So that's going to be where we have all of our food, all of our alcohol. We'll have some vendors set up downstairs. It's literally right underneath the auditorium. Like you come down one set of stairs.
So are people going to be able to go down there and then come back up?
Yes.
Or?
So we'll have it. Yep.
Okay.
So we'll have it barricaded off, so you can't like get onto the dance floor or anything.
Gotcha.
If you're just there for the fights, but you can see what's going on. The DJ will be playing. Like I said, food, vendors, alcohol, everything will be downstairs, and then after the fights end, everyone will exit out the front of the building and then come around to the entrance door, and that's where you'll actually get into the after party. So
hell yeah!
During that transition, you come down, get it popping in there.
All right, man. Did you want to talk about December at all? Or are we still waiting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
you're gonna name drop right now?
You want me to?
Name drop?
You want me to?
Do it.
It looks like the main event, Joel Haro will be having the opportunity to get his bantamweight title back against a former UFC vet. Bringing in a big name for that. Super excited for that main event.
So you're not dropping that name?
I mean, contracts are signed.
He's calling you out right now.
I'll let Joel drop it. It's his moment.
Okay.
It's not ours. That's
True.
his.
Fair.
I'll let Joel drop that announcement when he's ready.
All right. He was antsy at the fight con. So.
I know he's excited, but well, here's the thing: like when people, because Joel even asked, he's like, "Can I announce who it is and stuff?" I was like, "You can do whatever you want. I don't like to say it till contracts are signed."
Yeah.
Dude, screw it. Contracts are signed.
No, don't take his moment.
No,
Don't
it's
take
his.
his
It's his. It's cool, but it is a name that. He's a UFC vet.
We can just
Here,
drop it now.
You ready
and
for
then
a teaser?
text him right now and be like, "Yo,
here's the teaser.
Get the word out."
No, here's the teaser. It's a UFC vet that has ties to Utah that used to train here in Utah. That's who he's fighting. So if you can figure that out, like, good on you.
Did he live here?
Yeah, he did.
Was he on The Ultimate Fighter?
Maybe.
All right. Okay.
We're doing like 21 questions.
Yeah,
you gonna guess
yeah, we could do that. The return of Kent Mafaleo, and he will be fighting a very familiar name that I think we're all very big fans of. Very excited for.
We're not dropping that name either. Is the contract side?
Dude, you better just start texting people and be like, "Hey,
you got me already." I mean,
the
we got
podcast
Joel,
is coming out."
Joel, Kent, Julian Ruiz back at Fierce. That should be really exciting.
This is his first fight back from PFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. We will have 3 title fights.
Is Bocat
at
on?
least? No. He's retired. That's what he tells me.
Oh my.
Yeah. He's better on the commentary booth anyways. Submission artist heavyweight. Who wants I always tease him. I love Eddie. He's like one of my best friends outside of my gym in the Utah MMA community, and I tease him all the time. It's a good time. He's great on the commentary though. Like seriously, like, and fighting is one of those things. If you aren't all in, like, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Like, if you don't want to fight, like, if there's part of you that doesn't want to fight, like, you probably shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah,
and he's great on the commentary. But we have 3 title fights. Mark Gonzalez will be defending his heavyweight title.
That's Panda, right?
Yeah. And then we have Jason Ergel will be fighting for the vacant 185 title against probably, if Walker Pelto wins. Walker Pelto, he's fighting November. He could go 3-0 since June 15th and put himself in the title before the end of the year. He could, if he wins November and fights December, he could go 4-0. He has the potential to go 4-0, win a title in the span of 6 months.
What a run.
And that young kid, I think he's really special, and I'm really excited about him. But Jason has a lot more experience. Just got another advancement on his purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, that's really interesting. But if Walker wins and isn't healthy, we have other options. Or doesn't win, we have other options. We have an unreal 170-pound title fight coming with Christian Reyes. We've never had Christian here at Fierce. His dad owns Fusion in St. George. He runs Crown Fighting Championship, who I fight for. Christian has been training since he was 5 years old. Brown belt in jiu-jitsu, unbelievable karate, taekwondo, kicks, explosive. When he's like one of those kids, it's like what happens when those elite athletes fight, do fighting their whole life. That's Christian. Like, he's unreal. One of the best prospects in Utah. So he's fighting for our vacant welterweight title against Lane Dalton, who unfortunately fell right. We had the mishap with the cage when he fought Camuela Mamone. That was him, Lane Dalton. And he's been on a tear too. So that's going to be an unreal fight. But both cards are really, really full.
Man. One thing that you didn't say that I'm wondering, I'm interested, what's going on with Mike Jones? Will he be defending his belt anytime soon?
To be determined. Like, we've been talking about it. And honestly, I hope he doesn't mind me. I think Mike is he's one of the guys here in Utah that's just been doing it for so long and goes under the radar and doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Like, he's a bad dude. He just fought bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And he's just not 100% healthy. And he's at a point in his career where I think he's just weighing the balances of, do I want to go now? Like, we have a potentially huge mega fight for him, but is it a fight that he wants to take when he's not 100% healthy, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing that I think Mike owes it to himself, if you look at Mike's career and you know the history of Mike Jones and his career, most of his L's happened when he took fights that he shouldn't have. 4 of his losses are against ex-UFC fighter, UFC vets. 4 of his 7 losses. 2 of them to Kyle Stewart. And 1 was to Sean Brady. I mean, if people don't know Mike Jones, go watch his fight for Cage Fury back in Pennsylvania against Sean Brady. Sean Brady, who's the top 10 welterweight in the UFC right now. Mike, I think he shared this story. But if he hasn't, I'll tell it for everybody. He freaking took that fight on like 7 days' notice, cut 27 pounds in 7 days, goes to Sean Brady's backyard and out wrestles him. By the way, Sean Brady, probably one of the top 3 grapplers in the welterweight division in the UFC. Mike goes to his backyard, out wrestles him and beats him in the first round, and then gasses out and loses from cutting 27 pounds in a week. And loses in the second round. Like, his losses are to high level guys that, I mean, on a full camp or in optimal situations, but because he's just that guy, and, you know, he's just kind of a G like that, like, he just takes fights. And so I think he owes it to himself to make sure, like, the next time he takes like a big fight against something like that, he's ready to go. Still could be December, but to be determined.
Okay.
But he owes it to himself, and to me, he's earned the right to make that move when he's ready. He's not going to get any pressure. Obviously, it's not our place. Like, we're here to provide the platform. It's their choice.
Yeah, I was having this conversation yesterday with a pro wrestler. He's actually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Manny Lemons. He's a local. He owns Devotion Championship Wrestling. A professional wrestling promotion here, but he just got called up to AEW for
Let's
October
go.
23rd. Yeah, so he's gonna be on AEW, and I was talking to him about, like, because he's on TV with WWE all the time. He's extra, but I was talking to him about, like, when do you get called up? Like, when do you get your shot? And he's like, it's really finicky. Like, you want to be around, you want to push the things, but you also want to say no sometimes to make yourself, I guess, desired. And
that's a hard balance.
Yeah, right. Because you want to be a go-getter, you want to be a yes man, but at the same time, like, you gotta
have a boundary.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, with some of the fighters with their own career, you got to worry about your health too. You know, Like, because I'm not ready right now. But when I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah.
But then hopefully you have an opportunity, right?
And like the thing with like Mike too, I mean, I don't think I'm sharing anything like if you look at it, he's basically been in camp or recovering from a fight all year. Like he's just had a couple fights fall out. Like, yeah, it sucks, but that's the reality. And so it's like, dude, like his window he's older. His window's closing. So it's not that he's being picky. It's just, it's being smart. Right. And, but making sure that when you're ready to go, like, hey, when recharge your batteries up, like, not that he doesn't like love it or whatever, but it's like, you know, be locked in and ready to go when it's time to go. Like, I mean, same thing for Kent. Like when he wanted to make the comeback, like I didn't want to call him right after and offer him a fight, but I did want to reach out and make sure he knows that, hey, like this is still your home. Fierce is still your home. Like we wanted that to work out. Like we did a podcast right after, the day after. Mm-hmm. We wanted that to work out and you get signed and everything, but it didn't. This is still your home. I don't know when you're ready to go. I don't know how much time off you need, but just so you know, like you just say go and you're on a card. Like we're still here for you. Same way with Mike, you know, it's like, it's no pressure to fight. Like you're one of our guys that we want here. It's no pressure to fight though. Like whenever you're ready, we're ready for you.
Hell yeah. Well, November 8th at the Masonic Temple, fiercefightingchampionship.com. Fellas, man, I appreciate you guys coming through. Feel like we got to learn more about Saygen. Or what was it?
Saygen.
Oh no, it's Honey Spoon.
Honey Spoon.
Honey Spoon. Honey Spoon Boo Boo.
Dude, yeah.
I'm changing you on my phone right now to Honey Spoon.
Honey Spoon Boo Boo. Obviously we got October off. We're back November, but there is tons of content, tons of pay-per-views that are up on the website, on the YouTubes. Go check it out. Content all the time. The Fierce Fighting Championship, the podcast is up with Blake. He's always conversating with a lot of the guys. And one thing before we leave, we didn't mention no ladies. What's going on with the ladies? Are we done with? Where's the ladies at? Where's the athletes at? Are they retired?
There's girl fights at on November 8th. There's a girl making her debut from Agema, Katie Phillips, bringing in a girl down from Washington. Her name is Lisa Holtz. They're fighting. Hannah Silva, somebody that's been pretty active for us. She fought last night. Unfortunately, didn't get the win in a title fight in Vegas for Tough Enough, but I think she'd like to be back soon. Like, I don't know, man. Like, dude, the women's MMA pool is small. Dude, we just had a women's MMA in September with Sam versus Mally at Warehouse 22. We had some up at Bear Lake. Like, they're around. It's hard to match. And ironically too, a lot of the girls are at Agema now.
Oh, really?
Like a lot of them. So it's like finding people to like they're all in one place, it seems like.
They're all teammates?
Yeah, kind of. So they have the right training partners, right? That's one of the biggest obstacles for females in the sport is like finding training partners like their size. Like
that's what Caitlin was telling me.
Yeah, it's really hard. Where's Caitlin train at? Agema.
All right. Well, hopefully we get to see. There's some ladies I want to see, but it doesn't sound like.
Who do you want to see?
I want to see Kiwi back in the mix.
Oh, I'll put it out there for her. There's some pressure. Like, I think you're not going to just see her in kickboxing next year. I think you're going to see her in small gloves doing MMA next year.
Well, I'm excited for it.
Me too.
Another guy I want to see outside of kickboxing is Iman. Because, man, that fight was fun with Iman.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
We're about to close out the year, right? In 2025, would it be possible to maybe finish out 2025 with like a fierce banquet?
There are talks about doing something. Yeah.
I think we have enough vets that aren't. They're active in the community, but I think guys like Iman and maybe even get Court or something, like guys with names that can put together cool recognition pieces, right? Like you talked about Mike not really getting recognized as one of those top guys.
Sorry.
Like I think it's up to us to really be like, hey, all of our fighters come. Let's have the banquet. Let's go meet at the Masonic Temple in the banquet hall.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
And let's have a cool little ceremony where it's like, hey, this is the rookie of the year. This is the moment of the year. Like we've had 2000. If you look back to, and I would love for Blake and you guys to do like a 2024 recap because there's so many dope moments.
We did that in 2023. Me and Blake did a podcast. We did awards, and we gave all the fighters out plaques at the beginning of 2024. All the winners of 2023. Pro Male Athlete of the Year, AMI Male Athlete of the Year, Female Athlete of the Year, Knockout of the Year, Submission of the Year. We did all those in 2023. We'll do it again in 2024 for sure. We did a podcast with that.
I really like that idea.
But an actual like banquet
live
would be really cool.
That's what I'm saying. Just do exactly what you guys did.
Yeah.
Off the digital, but make it physical. You know what I mean?
Dude, get the big screen up at the Masonic Temple, do replays.
It would be cool. I am saying the hardest thing about that is to getting everybody there. I get that.
Yeah, but if
that's
it's like
the big hang
a
up.
thing and we plan it right now.
It's like the Grammys, right? You've been nominated.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been nominated, so you have to show up. You know what I mean?
Dude, it'd be cool.
And
have all the staff there,
Fighter
feed
of the
everybody.
Year, and get the sponsors involved. Fighter of the Year is sponsored by said name.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I'm with you.
I'm for it.
Is Glow Pop still?
Yeah.
Okay. The Glow Pop Knockout of the Year goes to.
Yeah, no, we love Nate. He's our sponsor for the after party.
I know Nate's been ducking to coming on this podcast.
I'll get him.
My boy Alex.
Should have brought Nate, not me.
You know what's so funny? His partner Nate, or the guy that works with him, Nate, his name's Alex, and the first time when they had the cars out, Alex comes up to me, and I've known Alex since I was like 16, and anyway, long story long, I was like, yo, tell your guy that come on my podcast because I see he got Glow Pop. I took a Glow Pop on my way home one day, and not the best decision.
Get you. Dude,
delicious though.
Have you tried the honey? Have you tried the mad honey?
No, honey spoon.
Don't do it. Saygen calls me and he's like, I took the honey.
Dude, I didn't think it was gonna affect me like that.
Yeah.
I just started sucking on it one night. I was cleaning my house.
Pause.
Holy shit, dude!
He calls me.
It'll
He's like,
take
bro,
you on a ride.
Yeah, Glow Pop's amazing.
Yeah.
That's not my thing at all.
Yeah.
But I do have a sample stick. It's still sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you take your sample stick?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Don't do it."
Dude, Glow Pop is serious.
Absolutely.
He knows what's up. But yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll get him on here.
November 8th, fiercefightingchampionship.com. Go get your tickets. Support Utah MMA. Because, man, like we were talking, the whole reason is to build this community up. So definitely go get it. Anything else? Where can we follow you, fellas? All that good stuff.
Follow him. He's more interesting than I am.
No, I need to start
Go
posting
follow his
more
TikTok.
stuff. Yeah,
Follow his
I
TikTok.
post a little bit on TikTok. Dude, honestly, my Snapchat's just my name, Saygen 6158. That's where I'm the most active. Yeah, I don't really.
6158.
Yeah.
That's the last 4 of your phone number?
Yeah, old phone number, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like
Usually
12.
it's like 801 or
619 is usually everything with his.
Yeah, that's my name is 6 letters, 1 and 9.
Yeah.
So,
But you're not from San Diego?
no.
Are you a Mysterio fan?
He doesn't even know who that is.
Oh
but
my gosh. The most famous luchador ever and best. Oh my gosh.
Best.
I had this conversation.
619 connecting.
I promise you, we're going to end this podcast. I had a conversation with somebody earlier today, and he was like, I didn't realize that we talk about dream matches. WCW was giving us dream matches before we even knew it.
Oh my gosh, were they ever?
And
It's the best.
we lived in it, though, so we didn't realize it.
I know.
It's like, jeez, man. Yeah. All right. Well, go follow me at Dre Rawka, DRERAWKA, allrock.com if you want to get a t-shirt. But ultimately, again, fiercefightingchampionship.com. Have the day you deserve. Always protect your light. We're out. Peace.